when I look at you. Oh, I feel my heart. Oh, I feel real love deep inside. Oh, love, natural, I can't believe how you do to me. You make me feel all how you say. Feel so special. Oh, love.
Good afternoon, Andrew.
Yeah, good afternoon, Tom. What a lovely sunny day it is again today.
Well, I would stress that it's been a bit on and off.
Yeah, well, that's,
would I say?
as a bit,
Insignificant. What's the word?
It's just a bit.
What's the word? Pompey like it all the time. Inconsistent. Welcome back to the Fournilwrittenalloverit podcast, everyone. Week number 6, episode number 5. Obviously, we had a week off to have a look back at some of our best bits. Last week, if you haven't seen that, it is linked down below. You can also find it on our channel page as well. It is day 40 of lockdown in the United Kingdom, Saturday the 2nd of May. Thanks for joining me again.
It's okay, mate. Yeah, look, it's great, Tom.
And we're past the peak.
So we're past the peak, Tom. Let's hope we can get football back on soon.
Yes, and leading on from that, the 8th of June has been set out as a date to work towards for the football powers that be, for the resuming of the season. I don't know how that's going to work. Clearly, there is some kind of, which is very good actually, that there is some kind of
movement
reason why they think that they're going to get to the 8th of June exactly. And what would your thoughts be on that? Is the 8th of June too soon?
I think 8th of June's, yes, Tom, of course it's too soon, but they've got to start talking positively about how we're going to get back to normality, aren't they, which is going to be some time. We've talked about that. 8th of June, Tom, not for everyone to flock to Fratton Park and watch us play football, of course, or to Wembley Stadium. It's about 8th of June that perhaps there could be some movement. Don't know. The Dutch have done their own thing, the French have done their own thing.
Yeah, they've all cancelled their seasons.
That might happen there. I don't think it's going to happen here. I think we're going to play the season out because there's too much money in the Premier League that, as we just said before, it's all about the financials, isn't it? It's about players' contracts, it's about Sky TV money, and it's about finishing this season for the worldwide audience, not just for the French audience or as they would see in Holland. Not a great deal of people watch Dutch football, do they? Let's be frank about it, unless you're Dutch. So, as consequently, I think there's a fair chance we'll get started maybe late in the summer, Tom. But as I said to you before, I think we should start in January. That gives everybody time to catch up. The hospitals, the schools, the staffing, the policing, the infrastructure of the country back into normality, some sort of normality. Do the four months, take us to the end of the season and miss the season completely, I think, is the best solution. But then I'm not a politician.
You're not, but also if they feel that they can get it going again in the first week of June, why wait till January?
Because first week of June, Tom, if that actually happens, then behind closed doors, it's not the same as playing in front of audience, is it? And the financial implications of that, do the clubs then, a lot of them are going to go into administration or liquidation or something really horrendous because they haven't got the gate money. Do fans then request their a third of their season ticket money back? What happens to these clubs that can't afford that? Let's be frank about it, unless Pompey borrow the money from Eisenhower, we can't afford it either. So as a consequence of that, we've got to be sensitive to the fact that financially the country's in a difficult position, and also a lot of football clubs.
I was going to say, football reflects the financial situation around the world, in fact, doesn't it?
Yes, of course. So that's my reasoning, Tom. That's why I'm saying behind closed doors is probably not the best answer financially, but we aren't FIFA, we aren't the Premier League, and we aren't politicians. It's just our humble little assumption of the situation, isn't it? It's difficult, so difficult. No one's seen this happen before, have we? This is it's so...
Yeah, it's never happened before, has it?
Of course, and hopefully never happen again, but... Anyway, we'll see what happens on the next couple of weeks, won't we? See what Boris does.
Well, yeah, we're going to wait until next Thursday. The announcement will come whether we will be easing the lockdown process or not. As we all know, and we have known for weeks, anything that anyone says is just speculation until Boris comes out and stands next to the lectern and says it. But
I'll tell you what isn't speculation.
What's not speculation?
The latest, the Queen herself is a Pompey fan. Have you seen it?
Oh, right.
Tom, take a look at that.
Yeah. It's good, isn't it?
There you go, see?
Confirmed.
Not a lot of people knew that.
No, until now. So there we are. Thank you for sharing that with us. We're going to move on to some questions that we've had in from our brilliant viewers. C. Thompson has come in. It's more of a statement that I wanted to get your opinion on. We spoke about VAR in a couple of the latest podcasts, and C. Thompson has said, I feel with VAR they should change it like cricket. Make it so you have, for example, one decision review a game for each team, no more than that, and if you don't use it, then you don't use it. Then it becomes more of a tactical decision from the manager/captain, and there's the risk that you waste it. I think it's building on that. I think it's quite similar in tennis, isn't it? We get a couple of challenges per match.
That's somebody else's view, Tom. It's a fair point. Fair point. Not as I understand how I'd see it, but that's Mr. Thompson's view, Tom, and everyone's entitled. That's the great thing about this game, isn't it? This sport we love so much. It's everyone different opinions and different views on everything, isn't there?
Yeah, and I think it would be a good idea to have some kind of system where you can contest a decision, perhaps.
Well, you can argue with a ref.
But that doesn't work, does it?
No, but that takes away the fun of it, doesn't it? That's the point I made last time. It's got
that the ref's decision is final.
Yeah, and then it's got to be that way, isn't it? It's got to be. It's a man on the street sport, isn't it? Where we all want to debate it in the pub thereafter. Before those decisions that go for you go against you. I mentioned last week there's a few comments about it works itself out over a season. You get some, you don't get some. There's a few comments that actually, but it could change your whole season if you don't get that particular call. All that taken into consideration, it's the same for every club, isn't it? They all get mistakes. They all get pros and cons, and we've got to give somebody the authority to make that decision. And that, at this present time, is the referee. He's not going to be needed in a minute. It'll be an electronic referee, won't it?
Well, I think that's a little bit.
Well, it's possible, Tom.
A bit over the top.
Star Trek.
Yeah, I doubt that, mate.
When I was a kid, I watched a programme called Space 1999. Shocking. Looking back, thinking, Space 1999.
Was that the prediction of what space would be in 1999?
No, what the world would be like in 1999, and clearly it's...
How far from the truth was it?
Well, Star Trek miles away from the truth. It was just not true. Look it up, Space 1999. But that was how things were going to be in 1999, and that's 21 years ago.
Joshua Dyer has come in with another question. Thank you very much for getting involved, Joshua. Why does the 2011-12 Pompey squad always get overlooked? Not just by your 11s, but fans in general. We had Rocha, Pearce, Husklep, which you used to...
Call him Hosepipe, didn't
we? No, Hoseclip.
Yeah.
That was a very affectionate name. David Norris, Henderson, Lawrence and others. It was probably my favourite Pompey season as a fan. What are your thoughts on that rollercoaster year? Well, before I throw that over to my esteemed colleague, I would like to say that David Norris did appear in Andrews. He's Andrews' favourite player of all time. He was in the best 11 as well. He wasn't in mine though, to be fair. So, but what's your take on what Joshua's had to say?
Look, Tom, I said football's all about opinions, and that particular season was an okay season. Some great players there, and Joshua's got his own reasons why he likes that particular decade or that particular season in that decade. Personally, yeah, I remember Ricardo Rocha was a great player. There's one or two in there that were great players. Pearce was a great, strong player. Obviously, we mentioned Norris, great player. And it's all about opinions, isn't it? And my opinion my 11 was my 11. For lots of reasons. Watching back some of the old stuff we've been watching whilst we haven't been able to watch football.
Watch the
quite interesting.
Which game did we watch?
Quite interesting. Pompey 4-1 away at St Mary's in the FA Cup.
2010, wasn't it? So just before this season.
Yeah, that's right. And I was at that game, Tom, at St Mary's, and it was a great day out. At the end, it was a bit of a struggle for 60 odd minutes, but we won it comfortably 4-1 in the end. And there were some great players there that I hadn't mentioned. You know, O'Hara, what a player he was for us. Wilson at the back. You know, he's still only 36 now. I think he's probably living in Ireland or somewhere. But he was a great player, Wilson at the back. So yeah, there's lots of others.
Dindan scored.
O'Hara's left foot, sort of half volley outside the box. Look it back, beautiful strike, and he was a great player. He got some lovely left foot on him. Probably the best left-footed player, arguably, other than Matty Taylor. Probably the best left-footed player I've seen play for us, really.
Right, thanks for your question, Joshua. Pompey Dunk, a long-time viewer of the Fournilwrittenalloverit podcast, has asked us, would the team that Tom picked beat the superior team of 11 that Andrew picked recently? So Pompey Dunk is clearly on your side when he describes you as superior in your team picking, but maybe mine's a little bit more
modern,
current.
So it'll be about...
Right now, Herman Hreidarson's got to be quite old now, hasn't he, for example?
Well, he's not 60 yet.
No, but that's not... He's not Herman, part of the high-risk group, is he? But he's...
No. Yeah, Thomas, what do you say? it's a different era, isn't it? Most of it's a different era, a different pace, a different fitness level. So, it'd be interesting to see those two teams play. Perhaps could you do that sort of animation and make it happen somehow?
It would take me quite a few. Well, not weeks, but we're quite busy people at the minute.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. So I wouldn't forget that. Then there's too much.
Yeah, I would. You know, when like the world's kind of not as busy as it is right now, I would probably. I'll think about doing it. Yeah. Thanks for your question, Pompey Dunk. My answer to that is yes. My team would be Andrews. Alex Haywood has got in contact with us. He's another great supporter of the Fournilwrittenalloverit podcast, so thank you very much. He sent me an Instagram message saying, "Great podcast again, guys. Wanted to ask a question just in case you're planning another." Well, just so happens that here we are. What transfer rumours that you... What Pompey transfer rumour... What
He's a player, isn't he,
Runer? What Pompey transfer rumour that you heard do you wish had happened, and which Pompey transfer that did happen do you wish never did? Can be any era. P.S. How did Lassana Diarra not get more praise from you?
Okay, so let's deal with the PS first, Tom, shall we? I don't think Lassana Diarra was the best midfield player we've got. He's a great player, but he wasn't 22 million quid at the time we sold him, and he was a good player, Tom. But for me, he didn't do enough in a game. He was doing just what he wanted to do, really, typically of that era and that sort of attitude of that type of player. He was a great player, but he did just enough. He wasn't in the game enough for me. That's why he's not in the top 11. Then we go back to dealing with the first part of the question, which
transfer rumours.
Transfer rumours. The worst transfer we took.
Oh, the one we actually that happened.
The one that actually happened, right. As I remember, it was Yoshi Garaguchi, who was a Japanese goalkeeper we brought in from Tokyo, I think. He was absolutely shocking. I mentioned it before in a previous video. There was about 5,000, seriously, Japanese press cameras that arrived from Tokyo at Fratton Park on his opening game. Seriously, you couldn't see a blade of grass on Fratton Park on a pitch. Ask any player that was around in those days. Fan that was around in those days. It was all Japanese photographers, and he was called Yoshi Kawaguchi, and we called him the flapper. Tom, he used to come out for a corner like this and never get anywhere near the ball. He was
like jump up in the box or something.
He'd jump out and just flap his arms around everywhere, and he just missed everything. He was absolutely atrocious. Goalkeeper, yeah.
Oh right.
He was shocking. Look him up. And that's the worst transfer, I think. Funny as it goes, because the whole of Japan virtually turned up to watch him play the first game. Quite funny.
Am I allowed to say that Joe De Vera's the worst transfer that we've had? From my point of view,
he was bad.
I remember he was quite comically terrible. De Vera. We all loved him though.
I loved him to bits, but he was awful. But he actually had some really funny thing is he did some really good things as well. He was garbage, but he had some moments in the game where you think, where did that come from? He was brilliant. He was that bad. He was good.
I remember. I think he fell over once and. Did he not fall over with the ball and then ended up heading it on the ground? I've seen. If anyone remembers that moment, please let me know which game it was, if you know, because that was quite. You know, them things that just kind of pop up in your memory watching Pompey. Yeah. Anyway, Joe De Vera, and maybe
if you're watching Joe. Tom's only joking about.
Yeah, we love you, Joe, and Michael Smith. He was absolutely horrendous.
Sam liked Smith, didn't he? Just jokingly, Sam liked Smith a lot. He had him on his shirt, but he was horrendous. He was horrendous. But he's doing well again now, isn't he?
Everyone who's ever played for Pompey that is good now, Owen Doyle, for example.
He was garbage for us.
Well, he didn't. There was a big razzmatazz his first game away at Wycombe Wanderers when I think I just used the word razzmatazz, didn't I? It was big hoo-ha. And we went up to see him at Wycombe Wanderers away, and he didn't do very much.
And then he didn't do very much for the next 20 games.
Yeah, and now I don't know where he is now. Where is
Preston,
he now? No, he's not.
He wasn't Preston.
He's somewhere. He's ripping it up somewhere, isn't he? Owen Doyle actually played for Preston before he came to us. So
he's playing for them now, isn't he?
No, he's not. He went to Oldham Athletic on loan. But then in the 2019-20, so far, while he was on a loan deal at Swindon Town, he made 22 appearances and scored 23 goals.
Yeah.
Trying to make the point that Owen Doyle has been fantastic since he left us. Yeah. He played 12 times for us and scored twice.
But he's in a lower league now as well, isn't he?
Well, it's still an incredible goal-to-game ratio, isn't it?
But a half-decent League One player, you could argue, would do extremely well in League Two, or a half-decent Championship player would do really well in our league. I'll tell you what I'd like to see is that Thompson back from Millwall, midfield.
Yeah, we miss him, don't we?
Great player.
That's one of the first times I remember you really kind of
raving about it.
Yeah.
No, I thought we'd pulled it together then nicely.
60-second challenge time, everyone. You're gonna ask me how
many football clubs can you name in 60 seconds, and the time starts.
Hang on, whoa. Timer is going to begin. I have not prepared this in any way, shape or form. You need to make a tally of the ones I say so we know exactly how many.
Okay.
But I think I can do 25 football clubs in 60 seconds.
Are you ready, Tom?
Yep.
Start.
Portsmouth, Southampton, Plymouth, Exeter, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Aston Villa, Everton, Tottenham, Crystal Palace, West Ham, Wimbledon, Sunderland, Newcastle, Man United, Man City, Bradford. How many is that?
Carry on.
Bradford, Leeds United, Sheffield Wednesday, Sheffield United, Scunthorpe United, Accrington Stanley.
39 seconds to go.
No, 20 seconds to go. Peterborough, Swindon. Exeter, Plymouth. Have I said Plymouth? I've said Plymouth.
London.
I have done London. I've done all of London.
You haven't?
Yeah, I have done loads of London.
Yeah, you missed loads.
None.
Oh. Stop.
Right.
You've missed loads.
Did I get 25?
London. Who'd you do in London? You did
Tottenham, I did Arsenal,
Tottenham, Crystal Palace,
West Ham, Chelsea. Who else have I got?
Right, okay. Fulham, Queen's Park Rangers, Charlton, Millwall.
Right, well, you stop
Dagenham,
listing them off.
Redbridge,
We'll see how you do in a minute. Did I get 25? Because I said I was going to do...
2, 4, 22, 23, 24, 25. Bang on.
Bang on 25. Go on then. How many do you think you can name football clubs beginning with the letter A only in England?
Letter A only in England, professional football clubs. I think I can get 5, I think.
5 of them. Go on then, list the 5.
Arsenal.
Yeah.
Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Accrington. AFC Bournemouth. And AFC Wimbledon.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any others.
I think that's the only 5 actually. Is it your turn next week?
My turn next week. So
right.
Left for me to say, Tom, but obviously we're getting to the end of this, guys, now, ladies and gents. We're getting to the end of this. Hopefully now we can see some sort of light at the end of the tunnel, as we like to say.
How are we going to do 4-0 in its entirety?
I don't know.
We'll have to work something out, won't we?
Social distance, Tom. We'll put the microphone like that.
Yeah.
Like that. I'm going to get a microphone mask.
Right.
Social distance. Well, when it resumes, Tom, we'll obviously be sensible about how we run the 4-0 podcast and filming, whatever. We'll work it out, won't we? Like everyone. We'll just everything. Let's see what Boris says.
We'll have to get a pole for the microphone and we can stick it out in people's faces like that.
Yeah,
that's what we'll do.
We'll get it.
That'll be the plan. For the time being, though, that is it from us for now. Hopefully you've enjoyed this week's edition of the Fournilwrittenalloverit podcast. We'll speak to Alexander the Negative next weekend on the long bank holiday weekend.
We're looking forward to it, yeah, because actually, Tom, next week we've got an extra day off.
We have.
Friday is a bank holiday next week.
It is.
Fantastic.
How exciting is that? Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next Saturday. Keep the faith. Stay safe.
Play out Pompey.
Play out Pompey.
Go south. There's a team down there. Go south. With a lot of flair. Go south. They're gonna take us there. Where? To the Premier